Holland from the Data Experts Group. This is a short video on the Integration Hub, which will show you how to integrate, process, analyze and publish your data. To get started, log into our website at dataexpertsgroup.com, and if you haven't already done so, click on the register button to create a new and free account to use the platform. I've already created an account, so I'll go straight to the sign in button and I'll sign in with my new account. To get up and running with the Data Integration Hub, there's two steps you'll need to take. The first step you'll need to do is to create what's called a hub. A hub is a working area where you can create all your connections and you can create your jobs and schedules and so forth to process and analyze your data. Creating a hub is fairly straightforward. You click on the new hub here, or you could go to the Configure Hub section to create one there as well. So I'll create a new hub. I'll give my hub a name. You need to provide it with an encryption key. You can generate one automatically. The encryption key is used to encrypt data that is marked as secure on the platform. If you are connecting multiple hubs to the same data that is encrypted, you'll need to make sure the encryption key is consistent across those hubs. If you are sharing items such as tables, data links, views and dashboards, this item here indicates which people can actually see the shared data, whether that's public, registered users, published readers, and so forth. I'll leave that on the default and I'll create my new hub. Once we've created our hub, we can open it. The next thing we'll need to do is configure a remote agent. A remote agent is an application that you'll install locally that'll do all your processing and will connect to your data sources. To configure a remote agent, we can click on Configure Agent here, or we could click on the Active Agent and say Manage Agents down here. I'll click Configure Agent up here. Okay, there's no remote agents currently running, so we're going to need to download and create one. So I'll click on the Download Agent button, and there's a few options here. I won't go through every option to download this at this point. This is all listed in the documentation. But we'll give our remote agent a name. We need to specify the local operating system, which in this case is Windows. We can generate or we can type in an encryption key. This is used to secure things such as connection passwords and other sensitive fields. There's some information on here on auto logging and whether you want to auto update and so forth. If you want to include any of the plugins, such as these are additional plugins such as Oracle, Mongo, the machine learning functions and so forth, you can tick the buttons that are relevant, and there's a bunch of other options here which you can select as well. Okay, for now I will download that. If I specify download, that'll actually create a package for me that includes all the configuration information as well as a launcher to get the application started. So I'll open that here and I'll extract the files locally. Okay. Once we've extracted that, there's an app settings file that will contain those settings that we just specified. To get started, we run the Dexia remote run. If you're on another platform, that'll be the Dexia remote run .shell. This is for OS X and for Linux platforms, but it's the same process basically. So if I double click on that, if you get this message, you'll want to make sure you say more info and you say run, and that will go ahead and download the rest of the agent, which will take, depending on your connection speed, will take between 10 to 20 to 30 seconds to download. That'll download the files, that'll unzip them and install them locally, and if all things are going well, it should launch and run the agent for us. The things we want to watch out for in the logs when it's launching the agent to make sure it's been working correctly, that we get a message that says it's authenticated. Okay, we can see it's my remote agent. The services are all started. It's downloaded an SSL certificate which it uses for encryption, and the application is started and authenticated. If you have a firewall on, you'll make sure you want to allow access to the firewall so we can actually transfer our data back and forth. Okay, now the remote agent is now up and running. If I go back to my browser, and if I now click on Manage Agents and click Refresh, I should see the new remote agent has installed there. To get up and running, all I need to do now, for this, make sure you're logged into the correct hub, tick this and then say Authorize. Okay, that is just saying that this remote agent should be used for this hub. Okay, now that we're authorized, we should be able to start building our jobs through the browser. So I have a local SQL Server database, for example. I can create a new source connection and connect to that. We'll call it Adventure. I'll connect to a Microsoft SQL Server. The server name is just a local, so I'll use the dot, and I'll use Windows Authentication, which will authenticate by the user that the remote agent's logged into. If I select Refresh on the databases, if everything's working, I should see a list of my databases there, and we'll call that Wide Importers. I should be able to save that connection. I should be able to now import tables and get working with this. So I'll import a table just to show you the last part of the presentation. Let's import the cities table. Okay, we'll see that's imported. If I go to tables, I can see the cities table is imported there. I should be able to preview the data within that table. I could now start to build data links and start connecting and doing whatever I wanted. So for example, I could sort that by the population descending, top 10, then refresh that. So we've got the top 10 cities by population, and I could pop that onto a chart in a fairly straightforward manner. And if I wanted to, I could save that as a view. And as you'll see, we've got a view that's been created there. So we've done some basic connecting and some very basic queries to get us started with the presentation here. And you can see the result there as done. Okay, thank you for that. Please be sure and look for some of our other videos, which I'll go through and show you some of the things, some of the more advanced things like staging and building data warehouses and machine learning and so forth. Thank you.